across Africa. We know the problems, we've lived them, felt them, carried them. But the real question is, how do we fix them? This December, we are choosing to rethink what's possible with Giant Strides Summit 2025. Theme, the Third World Advantage. From the 4th to the 7th of December, seasoned thought leaders will chart the path forward for those determined to build their future from here. For every young African seeking clarity, direction, and strategy, this is for you.
Good evening, everybody. Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever your time zone is, and wherever you're joining us from. Today is day 2 of GSS Summit, GSS 2025, the Giant Strides Summit. If you know someone that ought to be here that is not here, you can use a few seconds to go call them, send a reminder. It's about to get hot. We are about to take flight. It's day 2. Yesterday was amazing. You would agree with me. Yesterday was amazing. Sameze the Sage took us on a journey. It was a tornado. It was so amazing. The high point of yesterday for me was learning never ends, and adaptability is a necessary skill for survival in every and any area of my life, and how that I need to outgrow certain thinking, and learning how to sell myself, my ideas, my skill, whatever it is, my product, my services, whatever it is that I have. I should be able to talk about it, to compel people, call to action, to take action on what I am bringing to the table. So you are welcome once again. If you are with me to this point, kindly type "I am ready" in the comment section. I am ready. I don't know about you. I am ready. I'm ready means I have my notepad by the edge, ready to write and download all that will be coming. Trust me, you can't wait to hear who we have today, who will be speaking to us today. Remember, we have lots of amazing speakers that will be talking to us. Our team is the Third World Advantage, Rethinking Africa. We have lots of amazing speakers, and tonight we have an amazing speaker that's going to be taking us to the next level. Are you curious? Are you curious? I am also curious, really. I'm also curious, right? Like we said yesterday, Africa has lots of advantages. Africa is a blessed country, a blessed continent, a blessed nation, people, tribe. Africa is, and I'm proud to be an African, right? You have to own that image. I'm proud to be an African. I'm proud to be a Nigerian, to go even further, right? So, welcome once again to Giant Strides Summit 2025. Giant brothers in the house, are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready to go on the flight? Okay, without wasting much of our time, I would like to introduce our speaker for tonight. No other person than Sir Egu Nana. The media team will put up his bio shortly. Okay. Egu Nana, widely known as the grandfather, is a distinguished technology and product leader with an MBA in IT management and over a decade of experience building and managing digital products and teams across Africa. Beyond his professional expertise, Nana is a creative storyteller, spoken word artist, and author, merging technical depth with cultural insight. He has also organized a TEDx event demonstrating his ability to inspire, lead, and create meaningful experiences. Nana is a transformative voice at the intersection of technology, people, culture, and innovation. If your hand is not too busy, join me as I bring up stage Sir Egu Nana to take us on a journey. You are welcome, sir. Can we celebrate him even as he come up stage?
I just need to confirm that you can hear me clearly.
Yes, yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay. I don't know why I cannot see myself. Um, can you see me in any way? Okay, fantastic. Are we up now? Okay, great. Good evening. It's so good to be here. I am so honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Egu Nana. I am I want to be sure you can hear me and you can also see me. Admin, please help me. Okay, fantastic. All right, my name is Egunana. I have been doing this for a while. I wanted to start with a performance, but I think I would have to end with the performance. As I mean, we've lost some time already. I will be talking today on the scope for Africa and how we within the third world, right? The sets of advantages we have, the uniqueness, in our own approach also, and how we can be able to, move from where we are, connecting with other aspects of the world that we term the first world, and maximizing all that they put in place to get us from this point to the next point. First of all, I have to acknowledge those who have behind the scene made this possible, from the sponsors to the organizers. Thank you so much for having me. I am so honored to be here this evening. Okay, so I'll just continue. Admin will help me know when you can hear me or not, because I can't get that feedback, at the moment. I would have to connect here online too. So please just pardon me to connect here and hope that I save up on time. Okay. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic then. All right. So I will first of all be talking from acknowledging the fact that we as Nigerians or we as Africans are a people that attempt disadvantage, because for you to number something from number one to what's that called, 1, 2, and 3, and call us third world, it seems that there's already a hierarchy, and then we attempt disadvantage if that's a word. But the first thing I would have to say, and you need to also take this down, is that the third world is a feature. It's not a bug. Do you understand? For those who are computer scientists like me, or you are within the product development or startup space, you understand more what I'm trying to say. The third world is a feature. It's not a bug. All right. The contrarian take here is that, oh, the West is easy and the world is Africa is hard, right? And Nigeria is hard. And you likely, wherever you are at the moment, if you are within the country, for example, or you are in maybe a few cities in Africa, you understand that, oh, you have to provide your water yourself. You have to look for a way to get electricity yourself. You have to look for a way, etc. But, I have to understand that too. I have to come from that perspective to acknowledge that, oh, Africa is hard. And if Africa is hard and Nigeria is hard, and we claim that, oh, the West is easy because, building in Africa is like, jumping from an airplane, right, that is about to crash. And when the airplane is about to crash, you are asked to fly out of that airplane, and then on your way flying out, you are not given a parachute. You have to build your parachute, on your way, down from that flight that's about to crash, and make sure that you land properly well without, any fractures, or without any, or without even dying, right? So you have started a marathon, or you have started a race, and then some people have already gone 2 laps ahead of you, and you have to be able to meet up. So today, yes, in as much as I acknowledge that disadvantage, I am saying that it is a feature and it is not a bug. And if it's a feature that way, we have to change our strategy. We have to change our strategy because, compare yourself to the person who has started a journey. The person started the journey. The person is using let's say the person is on the train, started the journey 2 days ago, and you are asked to start from that same point with the person which the person started, and you have to meet up with the person, where the person is going to. You have to be able to tackle it differently. If you go with the catch-up game, or you go with this catch-up strategy, you are not going to make it. You are not going to meet up. You are not going to what was that called now? You are not going to get that advantage of time. You don't have the advantage of time. Some of us started quite late. Some of us got into whatsoever field or whatsoever we are doing quite late. Some people even 25, 27, you still have that challenge, right? Of disadvantage. So how do you navigate this disadvantage? How do you go from point A to point B without necessarily losing out? So the second thing I have to say is we need to stop the catch-up game. All right, we need to stop the catch-up game. The world does not need another. The world does not need another system for Africa, right? As a replication for what has, let's say, worked out there, and then we are trying to replicate it in here and hoping that it's going to solve our problems. It's not going to solve our problems. So how do we, from where we are at the moment, right, start, flipping the scripts? We have to do it differently. So I'll give an example. An example, for instance, is that because I know that I am a Nigerian and I am disadvantaged, I start asking myself, what are the advantages for me? You start tonight or today, write out what you tend to be an advantage for yourself. For example, one advantage for me is that I have the power of the internet, all right? I have the power of the internet, meaning that I can know what is happening right now in Australia, I can know what's happening in Thailand, I can know what's happening in Singapore, I can know what's happening in the US if I have the advantage of the internet. All right. So I'm just giving an example. You have to write out, let's say, 10 things that's an advantage to you. If it's the advantage of your height, if it's the advantage of your you are fast, whatsoever is an advantage to you. And then next thing you are going to ask yourself is, in these things that are advantages to me, which of them can the world use? All right. These things that are advantages to me, which of them can the world use? Which of them can I package such that the world can then use it, right? For example, if we are going to be creating and we are saying, oh, we want to flip the script, there are new frontiers, new solutions that we can start building and saying, okay, if this thing worked out there, how can we convert it to it, for it to start working here, right? Building a new solution, solution for scarcity, solutions for, fragmented economies, solutions for fragmented markets, solutions for, let's say, unbanked population, right? So we need to start doing that. And when you change your mindset, you then begin to tell yourself, oh, you are not behind, all right? So I'll give you an example. One of my goals for next year is to be able to have 2 contacts in every country in the world. That's a very big Herculean task when I think about it. You have over 200 countries in the world. You have 365 days. If I have to, of course, I have some contacts of, across the world at the moment, but if I have to increase it, I need to say, okay, how can I get through to somebody in Argentina, right? How can I connect with somebody in Argentina who is in my field? How can I connect to somebody in Switzerland, right? Who is within my field, who is doing what I'm doing or interested in what I am doing? How can I be able to network with them? What levels of value can I bring to the table to let these people understand that, oh, I am not just here to, for a parasitic relationship, and I am here to, be able to connect with them and render value too. All right. So that's one of the Herculean task, for example, for next year. And it simply means that I need to be able to connect to people. I need to be able to connect to them. What's the word I want to use now? I need to be able to connect to them genuinely, beyond just networking, right? I need to be able to connect with them genuinely. I need to be able to understand what their is, what their point is, all right? What their pain point is. I need to be able to connect with them to understand what their culture is, what's one thing that moves the needle for them. How can I be able to, from Nigeria here, from Africa here, connect with them? For some of these things, or for some of these people, I may need to take an extra course, for example, so that I'm not playing catch up, right? I need to take an extra course. I need to, for example, go for some conferences. I need to improve myself, right? Become a voice in what I am doing. I need to position myself properly. Okay, so I will say this now. My manager would not pardon me, but I would say it. Left to me, I would not want to be on social media. Left to me, I would not want to be anywhere. Really, I would just like to do my stuff and just chill, right? I would just like to, I would just like to do my stuff. As far as I'm not hungry, I'm not making my money from social media, etc. I'll just be a professional and just be good. But we have seen that happen with the generation before us, right? The generation before us, they were just fine working their corporate jobs, 9 to 5. You could have somebody who is doing amazing stuff, but is not known really, doesn't have the platform for one-on-one engagement to, what's the word now, to inspire the next generation. They may not have that. They may not be there. So what did I decide to do? I decided, okay, because I do not like to do this naturally, I will need to get a management to help me do this. So they are the ones now that, push me up on my throttle. They are the ones that say, oh, you have over 10 years of experience talking about this or doing this. I think that you need to be on this platform. I think you need to network or connect with this person. And they are the ones helping me out right now to do those things. Do you understand? So for me not to play catch up, it was necessary that I do that. Okay, so it may be something that you do. Of course, there's a disadvantage to this. The disadvantage is that you may be at a point where you are now, pursuing after optics, right? You are pursuing after vanity metrics, right? But if you could grow enough depth, as a Nigerian, as an African, and then be able to render value, right? The world is going to come for you. The world is going to pay all expense paid trips for you to come to different parts of, Africa, the continent, and, the world, to come share your ideas and share your thoughts, really. And secondly, I want you as an African to treat your life as an R&D, right? An R&D is a research and development platform, or treat your life like a product, right? And then begin to ask yourself, who are my customers? Who are the people that I need to reach out to? Who are the people I need to connect with? All right. So I've spoken a lot about connections. I've spoken a lot about the power of the internet. I've spoken a lot about not playing catch up. I've spoken a lot about, about positioning, right? And, understand that being an African or being a Nigerian is not a disadvantage. Okay? Understanding all of that. The next thing I want to talk about here is the middle class ceiling. All right. So whether you like it or not, we have a middle class ceiling at the moment. The middle class ceiling is such that you believe that, okay, let me make it very simple. Walk up to an average Nigerian or average African and say, if I give you $1 billion right now, give you $1 billion right now, what would you use it to do? And you would be very, very shocked and marvel, right? You hear some people tell you, oh, I will just first go to, Maldives, enjoy myself, or go to Antananarivo, or go to Greece, chill, have a good time in Malaysia, they'll just tell you all of that stuff. Why? Because we have a middle class ceiling. We have that mentality and that mindset. The mindset that says, oh, if it's happening for somebody, then it cannot happen for me, right? The mindset that says, oh, I just need to make enough money to make sure that I am not broke and poor. And why that makes sense, right? I mean, please make a lot of money to make sure you're not broke. But while that makes sense, it also needs us to think outside the box. It also needs us, and when I say think outside the box, I'm not just talking about ideas. I'm talking about thinking beyond yourself. It also needs us to look beyond our nuclear families, right? To think beyond our villages, to say, okay, if I get 3 billion right now, somebody saying if I have $3 billion, what major problem can I solve for Africa at the moment that I would solve it at scale? It is going to provide jobs for thousands, tens of thousands of people. It's going to provide a source of livelihood. It's going to empower a lot of people. It's going to solve their problems. It could also make me some profits, right? And I will tell you how to go out of this, how to go out of that middle class ceiling. Number one, you have to have a dislike, a big hate. Hate is a strong word. You have to have dislike for mediocrity. All right. You have to have dislike for average stuff. You have to have dislike for, there's a word I am looking for. You have to have that dislike, right? For anything that you do that is putting you on an average scale. You have to have that dislike for it. You have to have a penchant or a thirst, a drive for excellence. All right. It's okay and it's normal for people to say you're on too much regarding excellence. It should be like that. And when you have this desire, this drive, this zeal for excellence, you would want to be at par with the people, globally. You would want to be at par with those who are termed to be in what's that word now? To be in first world economies, right? You would want to be at par with them. You would not want anything that is below average. The mindset of Oga, manage them like that, right? Oga, it's fine now. You can manage it like that. You are not cut out for it, right? So you would want to change that. So the next thing you want to do is to set very big goals. Now, when you set very big goals, it may need you to collaborate. And I'm saying this thing again and again, collaboration, right? it may need you to collaborate with someone. It may need you to be part of a subgroup. It may need you to be part of what's that called? A cooperative, for example. I'll give you a very practical example. For us here in Africa, we have a crab mentality. We want to be able to pull people down. But if we come together and say, okay, for example, if I need to set up a pure water factory, it will take me an average of 100 to 200 million, get the land, get facility, get delivery vans, get etc, manpower, runway, machinery, registrations, license, whatnot. It may take me about 100, 150, 200 million naira, right? But I realized that, for me to work for this money, if I am earning 1 million per month, it will take me 200 months without spending a dime from it, right? And I'm talking on an average. I mean, there may be people listening to me now who can cough out 200 million naira in one go. Fantastic. I love it. And if you are there, please connect with me. All right. So, but you then realize, okay, I have 10 million, right? If I have 10 million, I just need 20 people. I could pull up 20 people, come together, and then we set up a factory that produces water, employs 50 people, right? And then I own, let's say, a share out of it, let's say 5%. That's 5%, right? I own 5% of it with 10 million. Or I step it down and say, okay, if I own 5%, I want to also be working there part-time, right? I want to be working there in consulting. I want to be working there in business development. I want to be working there as a sales rep or a director. And the company still pays me on a monthly basis because I'm giving my time to it, right? Instead of waiting for 200 months to be able to get my 1 million naira together to set that up, I can set that up next year. So we, as young people, as the future of Africa, as the case may be, not even future, the current solution providers of Africa, we need to start thinking about that, right? We need to start bringing ourselves together to get this thing done. All right, so that's another thing. Set incredibly big goals. And how do you do this? Somebody may be asking, okay, are you just trying to motivate us? How do you get, etc? So let me step it back. First thing you need to do, set the very big goal. Let's say you set the big goal of, I want to employ 1,000 people. That's your big goal. You do not know what you're going to do yet to be able to employ the 1,000 people, right? So you set that big goal, then you start what is called a backward integration, a step backward process, right? You say, so this 1,000 people I have set up, what domain or what problem or what sector can I go into and be able to solve a problem that can get 1,000 people out of poverty, for example? And then when you get that domain, you then ask yourself a question also. In all of these domains, in quotes, which one has the least barrier to entry, right? Which one wouldn't need me to, break the bank to be able to get that done? After you do all of these things, you will step it back and say, where am I at the moment? How can I be able to? When you step it down to where you are at that moment, remember, you started from the top and then you broke that down to where you are. Then you ask yourself, now that I am here, I've started from Z, which is the big goal, and I've broken it down to A. How can I be able to move from A to B, and then from B to C, and then from C to D? So let me give an example. Myself, I set out a plan. I want to be able to release my spoken word album called For the Record this year. For me to do this, that's the big goal, right? The big goal, release my spoken word poetry album. For me to get that done, I'm saying, what are the things that I need to talk about, right, in the album For the Record? After I say that and I say, okay, who are the people I need to feature on the album? I stated that. Oh, now that I know all of these things, I need to produce the album. Who is going to be my producer? Oh, I have a list of producers, right? Oh, I have Sinex, I have this, I have that. Oh, I have Kemena. Okay, I would like to work with Kemena, right? I connect very well with him. I work with Kemena. And then I reach out to all the other people that I wanted to be on the project with me, right? And say, okay, this is what I'm going to be talking on. I want you on it. I want your thoughts. Can we be able to meet once every week so that we can streamline that? And when I break it down that way, I have been able to go from my very small goal to my very big goal. So there's somebody here listening to me or would listen later on. You have an amazing big goal. You want to be able to speak to 10,000 people. You want to be able to change the lives of young people across the continent, in the world. Big goal. This is how you start. You need to start from your street. There are 4 children, 4 young people, 4 teenagers on your street. Just call them together and start talking to them. That's it. Yeah, as simple as that. That's how to be action oriented. That's how to set yourself in motion. That's how to change the world. That's how to, yeah. Just call them. Somebody reached out, say, oh, I want to be able to help children. I want to solve their out of school problem. I said, yeah, you can solve it right now. Well, you can solve it right now. He said, how will you be able to solve it? I said, well, go and stop on the road. When the public school in the area closes, you will see a child without biro or without pen or without books. Call the child aside and then hand over a book, a pen, and whatnot to them. Yep. And then said, oh, I didn't see it that way. I said, yeah, the problem is that you want to be able to do something so that the world claps for you. Well, let 2 people clap for you first of all, right? So just do it and start from where you are, okay? So to break out of that, middle class ceiling, middle class upper glass ceiling or the crab mentality, you need to be able to position yourself properly well. To do that, you need to hate is a strong word. I say that again. But you need to have a disgust, a pet peeve for things that are not excellent. All right. That's how you need to do that. You need to get what is known as a global operator mindset, right? This thing that I am doing, yes, it is small. Can I at least be able to record it? Can I at least be able to validate it? Can I at least be able to put it in a record, right? Such that even though I know that I'm starting small, I know that in the next few years, I can be able to reference back to my journey and know that that's where I started from. So you have to be able to think about it that way. Now, there's the third thing I want to talk about is local, what I would call glocal, right? Glocal is global local. You have to be able to think from a local, think globally, then solve the problem from a local perspective. Think globally, then solve the problem from a local perspective, right? Because I'm talking to a mixed multitude here, I don't want to just stay within the confines of what I do. If you want to solve a problem and you are in Lagos, for example, you want to be a global voice, you have to start from Lagos. You have to start from our lingo, right? Because that's what's familiar with us. You are the one we know. That's what's familiar with us, right? And when you do that, it's now easy for people to say, oh, this is a big voice in Lagos. Oh, then the Cameroonians want to hear you. Then the guys from Ghana want to hear you. Then the guys in Egypt, Morocco want to hear you. The guys in Latin America, whatnot, want to hear you, right? The guys in Europe then call you up. But you need to be able to do that at your local level, all right? At your local level, you collaborate that way. The raw truth also is that sometimes it can be a tax on your soul. For those who want to change the world, if you want to change the world, it could be a tax on your soul. It means that you will not be like the normal person. You will not be like the average Joe. It means that you may not typically succumb to the normal route, right? The normal route of finish school, get a job, this, right? Even if you do that, you will now be doing it differently, right? Compared to the person who sees their job as the final, as the end for them, right? You then see your job or see your career as a platform for yourself, okay? So it may be a tax on your soul also because you are going to face black tax because you are the person who is who your head is sprouting out, right? You're going to be thinking differently. You may be cancelled by your local community. Yeah, that's the truth. And some people may say, oh, your own is too much. You may actually be cancelled by a local community. So how do you cope with it? How do you change it? Right? So it may be a tax on your soul too. Another thing I would say is that, yes, some people may say, oh, it's easier out there. Rightly so. But if it's also easy here, Google, the big guys of the world would have come here and solved our problems already. It's hard, and that's why most people don't want to come here. In short, the more you are trying to come back, the more people think that you are mad. And you have to be able to change anything. You have to be able to look beyond the status quo of what the expectations of the world is for you at the moment. All right. Mondays are my best days of the week. Yeah, Mondays are my best days of the week. And it's my best day because I see it as a way of giving back to the world, right? I see it as a way of solving problems. I see it as a way of, oh, another week for us to do stuff. Okay. And I believe strongly that work is not a function of the fall of man. For those who believe in creation story and, you know, how the whole stuff. Work is not a function of the fact that you are caused. Whether you are caused or not, you still have to work. In short, the richer or the more wealthier or the more influential you want to become, the more you would have to actually work. The richest man or the richest people with that you envy, they work way more than you do. Right? Okay, you don't have to believe me. Get rich, first of all, and you'd acknowledge what I am trying to say. So they work. And the idea is that it's most times actually not a sexy stuff. It's actually not a fun thing to do. You'll be lucky if it is fun for you, but it's just like when you took your first flight or, you took your first road trip. Oh, you're going on tour. It's amazing. It's sweet. But then you now have to go on tour back to back and you've been on the road for 3 months. You are coming from one flight to one connecting flight. You're lodging in the hotel before you even be able to catch enough sleep. They're telling you you have to meet up at the airport. Now it doesn't look fun anymore, right? It doesn't look fun anymore. And that's how it actually is. It actually is like that you can be able to step up, look at yourself and say, oh, what are the things that are not sexy? Let me start doing it. Because the things that are easy, a lot of people want to do it. It's easy to set up your camera and just dance. Yeah. Okay, it's not easy, actually. You have to rehearse it. You have to be a good dancer. It's actually hard. It's actually hard to create content. I've tried it. It's extremely hard. But the truth is this. You have to look for places. If you have to create the content, you have to create it differently, right? You have to talk about something that people are afraid or not comfortable talking about. You have to be unique in your own approach. Now, that's the hard part, right? You have to be comfortable doing hard things. Be comfortable doing the things that are not sexy. That's how you set yourself at par with the people that are in global, right? With the people that are in the top 1% of the world, right? You have to be able to look at it that way. Secondly, you have to think of arbitrage, right? For those who understand arbitrage is like what I would call a cheat code, right? Arbitrage is what people used to do then when the dollar-naira fluctuations were there. You buy from the right source and then you go to the black market and sell it. The question is, how can you be able to do arbitrage when you are in the country as of today? One of the ways is this. You have to be able to have a skill set that can be sold globally. A skill set that can be sold globally. Now, people will ask me, well, I've tried to get a skill set. I tried to get a skill set and the skill set is in customer care representative, customer success. And I am saying, well, that is nice, but somebody doesn't need a degree to do that. Somebody who finished maybe secondary school or a first school, university first year student can do that. So what differentiates you? Why should somebody pay you heavily to do it? If you want to stay in that field, now you have to think about it differently, right? Now you see it. You have to think about it differently. Yes, you have the skill set, but is the skill set something that is easy or hard for people to do? I started learning graphic design, for example, I started learning graphic design 2008 or something like that. Yeah, 2008. And I used that skill set to train myself through school when graphic design was hard. Not now where you use AI to just give a prompt and then you get the stuff. I did it when graphic design was hard, right? From CorelDRAW 9. Now, when I started doing that, and then I realized, oh, the barrier to entry into this graphic something is becoming easy. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry can just be tagged a graphic designer. I stopped doing it. And then I looked for a different path, right? As a brand manager. Oh, brand management. Yes. And then when I started doing brand management and I realized, oh, everybody, this is an all-commerce game. I don't need a different certification or a different, what's that called? Or a different degree to be unique. I stopped doing it. And then I changed my career path to product management years ago. Now, product management, people, I say, go online, go and get the product. And then I'm saying, oh, I've gone far, of course, in my career, but I may just stop doing it soon. Right? And I have already started since last year to channel the steps, right, for the next part of my career transition. So the idea ultimately is, what skill sets do you have that can serve globally? If you serve it globally, you'll be able to maximize arbitrage because now you'll be paid in foreign currency. You stay in a third world economy. And with that third world economy, you are fine. I'll talk about those who want to Japan. Japan is not a bad thing. I always say there's a difference between Japan and relocation, right? Japan is that you are running. You are running, trying to escape the system, right? Relocation is that, oh, you set out your mind, you had a plan, you went there, you know what you are going to do, you know you are going to be going in with some of the big dogs. And for some of us also, at this point, let me state, because I have, I think, 20 minutes, 20 something minutes. Let me state that at this point in time, you know that you'll be fighting for space with the people that are global. You cannot be normal. All right? You need to take 2 steps, be 2 steps ahead. For some people who are in local economies, part of the disadvantage is that you think that you're a big fish. Everybody hails you. Everybody, you are like the top shot. But you are not. You are just a big fish in a small lake, right? But you have the capacity to be a shark. But for you to be a shark, you need to leave that small lake or that small water and then dive into the ocean, dive into the sea, dive into the blue waters, right? Where you have the whales and you have the other bigger aquatic animals, in quotes, right? To swim with, to dive with. So don't be fine with where you are. Don't do that. So remember, arbitrage, have the degree, license, the technical know-how, the skill set to be able to provide value to a global economy. When you provide that value to a global economy, that global economy is going to pay you for doing it. Then you can decide, oh, I don't like staying in Nigeria anymore. I don't like staying in Africa anymore. I think I want to go stay in Europe. And you will not be out of place. All right, good. Yeah, let me also talk about this. You have to also know that there's a time for hustle, right? And there's a time to stop hustling. There's a time for hustle. I mean, you have to do whatever you need to do that is legal to, you have to do whatever you have to do that is legal to fend for yourself. You have to do whatever is legal that you have to do to, or whatever is legal and moral. I would also add moral. to get yourself the life that you want, to make sure that you're not begging. But there's a time when you need to now stop hustling and start thinking strategically, right? Start positioning yourself, right? Start being the master of your reality and start competing. Sometimes you also need, you don't need a visa to actually compete, right? But sometimes for you to go there, you actually need a visa, right? So you start positioning yourself to get it. For those who are volunteers, start recording, start having what you're doing on public domains, right? Understand also that there would come a time where you have to prove the work that you do. Unlike some of the people that we see on LinkedIn who talk so much about what they do, but they don't know how to do it. So you don't want to be like such people. You want to be able to have, yes, have that portfolio, but also have the background, the stamina, the foothold, your roots, your hands dirty, right? Know what you are doing and be able to, posit it as the formula. Of course, yes, there's something known as the African dream. There's something known as the African dream. And for me, the African dream is not running out of Africa. It is saying, even though you're outside Africa, how can you contribute back to Africa? Right? It's okay for me to talk about, how our politicians are not helping the situation, how our leaders are not helping the situation, etc. But remember, we are here right now to be able to solve our problems. Personally, first of all, because you cannot give what you do not have. So, as I round up this session, and please type in your questions, let me know what your questions are, and I'll try my very best to attend to or answer it. As I try to round up, there's an advantage you have for people who are multidisciplinary, multifaceted, multi-talented. There's a time when you need to be a generalist, but then there's also a time where you need to, deep dive, screw down and stay on something and become a professional or become a go-to name or household name on, right? How did I do it? Very practical. I called 4 of my friends. Yeah, we had a sit out at the mall, and I asked them. They did not know this was coming. I said, bring out your phones. Act like you want to message me on WhatsApp. Tell me 3 things you know that I can do in the order of priority. Like number 1 is the topmost thing you know that if I wake up, I can do it, and I can do it effortlessly. And people can pay me to do it. I can use it to render value in a workspace. Type it and send it to me as a message. 4 of them. And in my presence, without consulting themselves, they typed out 3 things and sent to me. And I looked at the WhatsApp messages, and guess what? 3 out of 4 of them said the same thing. 3 out of 4 of them said the same thing. And when they said that same thing, I looked at myself and I realized that it was something that I have not took cognizance of. Because look at me. You can see me right now, but my eyes have never seen my eyes before, except through a mirror or a reflective object. But people see me. And from afar and closely, they know what my skill sets are. They know what I am competent in. And I don't need to waste more time on things that I do not have an advantage for. All right? Remember, you want to solve the world's problem, but you have to start from yourself, right? And if you do not have a vision or direction for yourself, it is now hard for you to solve the world's problem. So it is easier, for example, it is easier for you to say, okay, now that I understand this about myself, based on the feedback that other people have also given
Adam
me.
said, can you please send N374,173,0199 to Animal Crossing Happy Home D Card 3 Set Volume?
I am so sorry. I messaged a work message. Don't worry. I'm fine. Yeah. So I hope another message doesn't come in. Thank you, admin. So the idea ultimately is my line of thoughts. Yeah. When I spoke to my friends, they never consulted each other. They told me what I could do. They told me the 3 things I could do. Number 1 thing, 3 of them had it same. They told me 2 other things, and I said, okay, how can I be able to, what part of my skill set is together that can I bring together, right? To forge an advantage in this. And then I started doing it. I changed it immediately. That night, I changed it. So you have an assignment. To a great extent, you may not know yourself as much as you think, right? Go meet your friends, meet the people that are closest to you, ask them without thinking, jump on a video call, whatnot. Your colleagues at work, ask them without thinking, what do you think that I can do that if you wake me up right now, I can do it effortlessly? Effortlessly. I can do it. I can render value in that space or as a professional in that thing. What do you think I have the capacity for? And they are going to give you an answer. And I think that's what you should focus on. Other people may have an idea. Great. There's no need for you to start saying, I am a chef, when your friends know that you're a bad cook or you're an average cook, but you are amazing and excellent at something else. There's no need. Right? So it is very necessary that you channel your energies to the places where you have an advantage. Yeah, that's one of the things that I did. Second thing that you will need to do also for me is to ask yourself, what is your vocation as an African, as a Nigerian in the 3rd world, or what we call the 3rd world? What is something that is a vocation for you? And a vocation is totally different from what do you call it? A vocation is totally different from, there's a word I am looking for, your profession, right? A vocation is different from your profession. So you need to be able to ask yourself that. Give me a moment. You need to be able to ask yourself, answer that question properly well. What is it that I can be able to do right now that the world needs? All right. So when you ask yourself that question, vocation, you need to be able to answer that. You need to be able to answer your profession, right? Number 2, your vocation, your profession. And then you need to be able to answer your passion, right? Your vocation, your profession, your passion, and your mission. Your vocation, your profession, your passion, and your mission. Your vocation is something that you do for work, something that you are paid for, right? That the world needs. Vocation, something you can be paid for, that the world needs. So, what does the world need? Can you be paid for it? You've answered the question of vocation. Now, the next one, because of time, the next one is your profession, number 2. What can you be able to be paid for that you are good at? Profession, what are you good at that you can be paid for? If you answer that question, you've answered the question of profession. So, for example, okay, I'll give the examples later. Number 2, profession. Number 3, you want to answer the question of your passion. What do you love? What do you love to do, right? That you are good at. You know, some people love to sing. They are not good at singing. They are not good. Somebody like Thames, for example. Okay, should I give that example? Yeah, Thames has said the story several times, right? She could sing. She had a passion for it. But guess what? Her vocation was covering up for it. You will never have known Thames. She might have ended up as a front desk officer, but she was an amazing singer and she'll be singing in her bathroom, right? So when you ask yourself vocation, you ask yourself for profession, you ask yourself for your passion, right? Now, remember, you may have a passion, but people cannot pay for it. For example, I have a passion of playing football, but you play on your street. Nobody pays you for it. You have a passion for playing the piano. You have a passion for speaking to people, but people cannot pay you for it yet, right? Or people are not paying you for it. You have a passion for painting. Now I am going somewhere. And then you ask yourself, what is your mission? Now, if you have your mission and you have vocation, you will see some people, for example, who are in the NGO space. I love them. You want to be able to pad the girl child. You want to be able to make sure that the child can go to school, and that's good. But you know that you need money to run that, right? You need to get grants. So from Africa here, you have to set a very big target. I need to be able to take 10,000 children out of the streets so that they can have education. For me to take 10,000 children out of the street, I need to, remember, backward integration. I need to have 10 billion naira, or let me say $1 billion naira, right, in the coffers or in the runway, or 100 million naira in the runway. For me to have 100 million naira for next year, I need to be able to make 10 million naira in the coffers every month, so that I can be able to take 10,000 children out of the streets and in a school. And for me to do that, I need to apply for 1,000 grants. Oh, 1,000 grants. No, calm down. 1,000 grants is too much. Do you want to do it or do you not want to do it? You have to be able to differentiate yourself, because you are not the only person who is doing that or who has that vision. You are not the only person, right? Admin, please let me know when I have just 10 minutes left. You are not the only person who is doing that. So you need to be able to differentiate yourself. And if you apply for 1,000, it means that if you have 200 days of work in a year, you have to be able to apply for how many per day? Yeah, 5 per day. For you to apply for 5, oh, you do not have the time. So now I need to employ 5 people, 5 interns, 5 whatnot, or get an agency that helps me apply for these things per day or per week. Oh, 1,000 is too much. Yeah, but 1,000 is a good goal. Step it down to, if you target 1,000, you could meet 200. If you submit 200 proposals, I think you may get 2. You may get a funding, $10,000 in funding out of the 200 that you submitted. I'm giving an example here. You can put that within your context. So if you have your mission and your vocation, you still need something that can power it. If you have your mission and vocation alone, you will be excited, right? Or if you have your what's that called alone? Your vocation alone, you would have a sense of excitement within your mission and your vocation. You have complacency also. You have a sense of uncertainty, because sometimes you look back and you see that, oh, the guys you finished school with, some of them entered careers and they are mid-level management at the moment. So, and you may feel like, oh, your life is not going forward. You may get depressed. So you need beyond just your mission, right? And your mission and what's it called? Your vocation. You now need to balance it up, right? Have something that is paying. But if you have something that is paying alone, some of my colleagues, for example, they think that I live an amazing life because I have platforms to give back to society. I mean, I am invited and I am privileged and honored to be invited to speak to you, to have an opportunity like this or a platform like this, right? They feel like, oh, you have been able to balance it properly well, right? I am not owing, I can be able to give back. You have been able to balance it off properly well. And while I admit that that is good, if I stay at just my professional level, have you ever met a professional and you'd be like, you have a lot of knowledge, why are you not giving it out? And just go to their 9 to 5 and they are just cool. But if you stay at just professional level, right, you'll be comfortable, but you'll have a feeling of emptiness. All right, you have a feeling of emptiness. So you do not want to do that. You want to be able to step it up a bit higher. And if you step it up a bit higher and you stay only at the point of passion, I am passionate, guess what is going to happen? You have a lot of delight, you have a lot of fulfillment, you have fullness, but you will not be wealthy. You will not have it. You would only be able to give people advice. And you don't want to also be there. So you need to be whole. First of all, be whole to be able to solve world problems, to be able to solve Africa's problems, to be able to solve your family problem. You have to be whole, right? And for you to be whole, you need to solve it at a vocational level, at a professional level, at a passion profession, vocation level, as a passion level, and at a mission level. All right. And if you stay at a point of passion alone, of course, you get a lot of satisfaction. I've said that before. But you will have a feeling of uselessness. A person, and I was saying all of this to get here. Some of you, it's not because what you are doing is not amazing. It's because you are doing it in the wrong environment. I'll say that again. For some of you, what you are doing is amazing. If you have if you have gold and water, for example, gold and a keg of water, and you have to sell, let's say this is my silver ring. You have to sell it here. Maybe it's $500, right? But you know that keg of water, you could buy it for 100, 200, maybe 500 from a barrel pusher. That keg of water, take it to the Sahara Desert route to Libya, and you will sell that keg of water worth more than you would actually sell some gold. Some people will give you their gold in exchange for that water. So for some of us, it is environment. And why we may not all have the luxury to change that environment, it simply means that we need to start targeting the sets of people who value what we give differently. All right? We need to start targeting the sets of people who value what we give differently. So if you are creating artistic works, for example, I have a few artistic works in my house here. If you are creating that, what do you need to do? There are people who value, I have 10 minutes more, amazing. There are people who value artistic work. Your village people, your household, your community may think that you are wasting your time. Every day you are on oil and canvas, right? You are on pastel, on this thing. You are wasting your time. But there's somebody who will say, oh, this work is amazing, values it enough to pay you a lot of money to get that artwork, right? Or pay you a lot of money or give you the platform for an exhibition. Okay? It means also, I did an experiment, by the way. I did the experiment. I went on LinkedIn, right? I don't post so much on LinkedIn. I do not like it enough because I think that it has been bastardized. But that's me privately. But you need it. You need it, oh. You need it. You are not me. You need it. Okay? So you need the LinkedIn. So what I did an experiment on LinkedIn, and I will change my location on LinkedIn from Lagos, Nigeria. I'll change my location to, let's say, Berlin, Hamburg, or Berlin, Germany, or Hamburg, Germany. Or I'll change my location to New York. I'll change my location to Edinburgh, or whatnot in UK, Middlesbrough in UK, or whatnot. And guess what? I would start getting a lot of conversations. I would start getting some people who want me to be with them on a project. I'll start getting recruiters reaching out to me saying, oh, we love your profile. We saw it. And I said, hold up. So it simply means that I have not been, or I have been shortchanging myself. So for some of us, we may need to do that. You may need to get LinkedIn Premium so that you can be able to reach sets of people. But remember what I said, you need that backbone, you need your foot on the floor, you need your hands dirty, you need your roots in, right? So that when you have the platform, you have the opportunity, you can be able to do that, you can be able to give back. Yeah, so with respect to your human capital, you need to set up your human capital on a vocational level, on a professional level, on a passion level, on a mission level. So you have several assignments. I've given us several assignments today. Go today, and as you set a goal for next year, this is very timely because you are doing this with your target for next year. Go and write out, and you can do this with your friends too. After you've written it out, then go meet your friends and ask them, or your close pals, or those who know you, or your colleagues at work, and ask them, what do you think that I can take up as a profession that it is good for me, and I will do it, and I am good at it, naturally good at it? And they will tell you 3 things, or you can even limit it to 2 so that you don't have a dilemma, or you don't have a paradox of choice. When you do this, you do it also for your vocation. You do it also for your mission. What do you think that when you look at me, you can say that I am passionate about? What two things do you think I am passionate about? What two things do you think that I can start talking about right now and I will never stop talking about it? What two things do you think that if they bring up or is happening right now, my eyes light up, even when I want to sleep, I find energy from somewhere and start talking to it about it? I have a friend, for example, who is good at sports commentary. But guess what? He may be here, he may be listening to me. Guess what? He has not been able to translate that. He's trying now anyway. But there, you can see that there's this guy called Femi Pereira. Is it Femi Pereira or something like that? And he uses his local dialect, right? And gives feedback about how a game is going and all of that. And I seem to enjoy it. I like it. I see him as a natural, gifted person. I see him as somebody. And guess what? People are sponsoring him now. People are giving him contracts. People are sponsoring most of what he does. You can look out for that field because he started doing it not necessarily because somebody is doing it and he's trying to catch up. He's trying to replicate what they are doing. No, he is just natural. He's just himself. Okay, so we can be able to there's a word I am looking for. We can be able to do it that way. Do not build your life to escape Africa. Build your life such that wherever you are, you as an African will be advantaged. You will be topmost. You'll be up there, right? Are there any other extra thoughts I have? I will just take that with questions. So I have 5 minutes more. I will add that to the question time. So let me open it up right now for questions. And yeah, I will open it up right now for questions. Please go ahead, ask your questions. Admin, I am here now.
Amazing. Thank you so much, sir, for really pouring out from your well of wisdom. Like, I have a lot of things on my mind, and lots of take homes, lots of practical action points. Thank you so much for that. Someone asked the question. Please kindly send your questions to the chat box. So someone asked that you lay emphasis again on the vocation. I think he needs better understanding on the vocation part. And yes, so that's one question. So please, guys, kindly drop in your questions in the chat box. Over to you, sir. Nope.
All right, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Am I
loud and clear.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. So
yes.
what you call
Yes, you're clear.
What you call what's that word now? What you call vocation, right? Is
vocation.
Vocation, yes. What you call vocation is what people typically would say your call, right? What is your call? I think I can hear an echo. I can hear an echo. Okay. Good.
We're good.
So,
we're good.
Yes. So what you have let me give you an example. With my life or with my person. I have a profession as a technical product manager, right? That's my profession. I am passionate about education. All right. I am passionate about education. I am passionate about changing the lives of people, seeing what words can do and, changing it from here. And the fact that where we are as a society, we can do a lot more if a lot more people are truly educated. Passion. I've talked about my profession. I've talked about my passion. Let me talk about my vocation. I am a spoken word poet, right? I'm a spoken word poet. I am invited to platforms, national platforms, international platforms to perform, right? Yes, I know I have not been putting all of that out there. I would start doing that. Thank you very much. But I am invited to do that. Yesterday, for example, I had the privilege of sitting before some stakeholders, governors, military, chief of army staff, and all not to share some of my thoughts, ideas. People like Fela Durotoye, Chris Delvan Guamna, etc. They were there. Now, when you stay at that kind of level, my vocation can open up doors for me to be able to reach out to people, and then they'll get to know my profession and then pay me more to do what I do. This, for example, is a vocation to me. I can talk, I speak, but I also went to learn how to talk, how to communicate, how to carry people along, right? And sometimes there are people who can talk in person publicly, but they cannot be able to talk when it comes to the online space. I cannot see anybody here, but I have been able to keep my energy at par, right? To communicate with people I am not seeing, and hoping that you can hear me wherever you are. My neighbors will practically be thinking, why is this guy shouting? Who is he shouting to? Do you understand? So that's my vocation. I am doing that, okay? And my mission, of course, should I share one of my missions to you? I want to be able to take out 10,000 people having a source of livelihood through me by 2040. 10,000 people. And 10,000 counting, having a source of livelihood. And you can see that ties into some parts of the SDG. And there are initiatives already that is in place to make that happen. And it's happening as of today, it's happening in its tens right now, right? I know I would get to the hundreds, and then I would get to the 1,000s, and then I can get to 10,000. Somebody like Dangote, you can see his level of influence, right? In its tens of thousands, okay? So for me to do that, there are people I need to network with, I connect with. So your vocation is, I hope that I've been able to use myself to do that. You can be a career professional without necessarily having a vocation, right? So to some people, they are good bankers, and then they have a vocation that they can cook, or they have a vocation that they can braid hair, or they have a vocation that they are good artists. And you'll be lucky if your vocation is something you are passionate about. And if you can tie it to your mission, you have blown. And then you can drop your profession and be using your profession for just your CV. I hope that helps you. Let your questions come in queue. As a creative designer, how can I reach those who value me because my environment is not helping out? Please, practical moves, sir. So you are a creative designer. You are a hot cake. I can get your feedback, Elizabeth. You are a creative designer. You are a hot cake. When I mean hot cake, I mean it in the sense that there's this guy called Virgil Abloh. Virgil Abloh is late now. If you are a Burna Boy fan, on Big 7, Virgil Abloh was the person he was making reference to when he said, "Rest in peace, Virgil Abloh," right? Virgil Abloh is friends to someone like Kanye West. For your Crocs, for your some of the wares that you wear right now that makes a lot of sense, it's Virgil Abloh, right? Made it mainstream. But Virgil Abloh was also a creative designer. The first thing you want to ask yourself as a creative designer is, what part of creative design am I more passionate about? Because creative design is wide. You could be a creative designer that is in the fashion sense, a creative designer that is in the technology sense, a creative designer that is in the arts and culture or whatnot sense. A creative designer that's a set designer, right? So you do a set design for people who are shooting musical videos, whatnot, or a creative designer for Marvel, animation and whatnot. So you have to be able to choose what stage of creative design you want to focus on. When you've chosen that stage of creative design, you will then ask yourself, in this place, who is the person who is making the most money and making the most impact? Right? When you meet that person, you now set that person as your North Star. When you set that person as your North Star, you then ask yourself, before I get to this person, which other person is there? And then you ask yourself, which other person is there? So you have created like a ladder, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before your North Star. In banking, for example, you can say, oh, Tony Elumelu is my, but Tony Elumelu is far. You can then start with, who is this guy who just finished banking school and is in the career trajectory already? So when you divide and demarcate that, your creative design that way, you ask yourself, who is the person who is making the most impact, making the most money? What did this person do to be able to get there? What hard work did this person do? You then understudy the person, read the person, everything about the person. You consume a lot about that person. The challenge with this is that because the person is at your North Star, there are some things the person is doing right now that will not typically get to you. So somebody may look at me and say, oh, I didn't prepare to come and speak to you, and so I am not going to prepare. No, I didn't use any slides or whatnot for this. But guess what? When I was starting over a decade, whatnot ago, I used to use slides. I used to be able to take my thoughts so that I don't miss it. So for that person that's your North Star, you may be able to learn some things from them, but understand that they are not at your level. You may need to now grind more. That person at your North Star, maybe he wakes up in the morning, he says, oh, I go for jogging to get my ideas. Then you too, you go for jogging. No, you don't have to. I'm just saying. Yeah, so that's one thing that I think it's a practical move for you. Understand what part. When you understand it, define it. When you define it, know which person is there or who has done what you typically want to do, and then translate it to the next person at your level. Do we have any other question? Do we have any other questions? Please let it come in.
Okay, while we wait for one last question because of our time, I want to say thank you so much, sir. Please, can we appreciate him in the comment section?
Thank you guys for
amazing.
tuning
Like I
in.
said, I was really blessed by a lot of things you said, a number of things, especially the connection part, and also how that you said that wherever you are, being an African should be an advantage for you, right? That really stood out for me. Right, because I think for me personally, when I left the country to go do my master's, right, I'm currently rounding up. It's about imposter syndrome and all. So because I used to feel like, oh, I finished the first class, I'm very intelligent. In fact, my name made to the blogs and all. When I came out, like, these people know Google. These people are smart. I'm like, are you sure I have what it takes? And then the imposter syndrome. And then you see people speaking English in their accent, not trying to, and me, I'm here trying to sound a bit touched, a bit British, a bit more American, or just have like some wouldn't want to have my accent. I don't have any accent anyway. So okay, these people are trying to preserve their originality, and I am here trying to, oh no, I will speak my English. So the reason why I'm going to try to speak clearly is because of, like you said, connection, right? And also wherever you find yourself. And then again, the vocation part, the profession part, that really stood out huge. There's a question here. He said, as a footballer who has been playing for over 10 years and wants to change a career path, what are the things to note before taking that bold and confusing step? That's a really bold step. So, and then there's another one. So I don't know if you can merge the two questions because of our time. Lauren said, how can an introvert know what he is good at without being told? And can you briefly explain the mission part? I think he's talking about when you said, okay, write to your friends and ask them. Yeah. Okay. So I think we're good.
Okay. I'll start with the introvert man. I am an introvert too. I love my house. Sometimes I tell myself, how can I pay this amount of money for a house and not be in my house, for God's sake? Like, how would I finish from work? I've paid money for this house. It's counting. And I would go and stay in a club or something. I have nothing with those who go to club anyway. But yeah, I love my house. I love my privacy. I love my thoughts. Sometimes when my driver drives, I just say, please, no music, no music. I love my thoughts. I like myself. I can stay without my phone or device. That's how I'm using myself as an example for you. The first thing is introspection. You actually need people, whether you are an introvert or not. You actually need people. That if you are, I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but there are parts of scripture I want to just reference. There are two people. One person who stays in a pool, right? The pool of Bethesda, and the other guy. So he stays at the pool of Bethesda once every year. The angel will come and turn the water, and he has to touch the first person to get into the water gets healed. And for many years, he has been there. Angel will come this time, he will not get healed. That's how a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians, a lot of Africans like to do. They like to focus on luck, right? And Nkasiobi and all of these kind of things, and say, oh, your destiny helper or something like that, right? The question I will ask is, why are you waiting for your destiny helper to find you? Why are you not finding your destiny helper? Because I'm an introvert. No, it's not a good excuse. Not a good excuse. So when Jesus Christ came to heal this guy, guess what the guy said? I have no man. You have no man. You have been an introvert. You are lame. You are lame, yes, we know. But you have eyes, you have mouth, you have ears, you have hands. You could connect. You could talk to people. At least that day you would have just be cracking joke. Let everybody be laughing. Or even if you are not cracking joke, be directing traffic. At least somebody next time will have you in mind when that angel is coming to shake up the waters, right? So that person said, I have no man. Now compare this to the second story of this guy who had 3 friends. Is it 3 now or 4? 3 friends who went, when Jesus Christ was preaching, they went up to the roof. Yeah, and 4 friends. 4 friends, right? Went up to the roof, broke the roof, and lowered the friend down. Sometimes I used to think about it. You think the owner of the house will say, oh, because a miracle happened, you don't have to pay for the roof. You will repair that roof because the roof is not do you understand? But the friends were willing to repair the roof. The friends were willing, we go break and we go repair them. We just want to make our friend day healed. Do you know what it means for you to carry a lame person up the way up, climb on the roof, break the roof, open the ceiling, lower your friend down? Do you understand what it means? They would have called like 4 security people already, vandalizing public property or whatnot. But that is what happened. Ask yourself, if you are lame today and it needs you breaking the National Theatre or breaking your church auditorium for somebody to lower you down, how many of your 4 friends do you have that can be able to lower you down like that? Most of us do not. So please, you do that with a lot of self-introspection, but also realize that you actually need people. For some of the people who you see who are outside and outward, we are actually very reserved people. When you meet us in person, we are. The second person who is a footballer, I wanted to be a footballer. The Lord knows. Even my younger brother wants to still be a footballer. I've advised him against it. I've wanted to be a footballer. And I have played scouting tournaments. In short, one of the times I decided, no, football is not for me. I'd gone in for MTN scouting tournaments, right? And we finished at the National Theatre then. This was 2009, 2010. I was a young chap then. And when we finished, guess what happened? I got into the last 50 or something like that. You know, Peter Rufai, Victor Ikpeba, JJ, and a few people were like the scouting guys. I play football quite well. But some guys came in. They came in with this yellow and black boss. Their team name is called Team Fash. I don't know if you remember them. Team Fash. And these guys came out fully kitted. This is me here. I didn't have money to even buy kits. I borrowed kits to go for this scouting event. And these Team Fash guys came out well kitted, yellow and black, neat, socks, stud, everything. And guess what they told us? They told us, come out. And then they fielded these guys. And this is what they did. For everybody they chose, the coach did like this. And I noticed it. He would say, look out for this guy. I don't know if you can see my hand. Look out for this guy. This means check. Good. And if he doesn't like you, say look out for this guy. It was afterwards, he doesn't like you, he does this, look out for this guy, amazing footballer. If he likes you, he says, oh, amazing footballer, right? And then I realized, no, this is not for me, right? And then I held on to my physics, I held on to my mathematics and further maths. I held it properly well till I got to where I am right now, studying computer science. But the idea is this: if you want to transition and you still love football, this is what I would advise you to do. You are at the point of your mission and your passion as of today, but you need to look for a profession and a vocation. Ask yourself, as somebody who loves football or who loves sports generally, what things can I do that can enhance me as a professional in this light? For example, you can become a professional trainer, you can become a licensed coach, you can become a technical advisor or a technical strategist in the football field. What does that mean? It means that you now have to take trainings, right? There is national, international trainings, UEFA A, B, C, D, I think trainings like that. You can also decide, okay, because I love football and I still want to be in the field of play, even though I will not be playing, I want to be a referee, right? Then you go for your refereeing license. There are parts like that also make a lot of money, but you don't actually necessarily now have to be a footballer, because time is also a disadvantage for Africans. We started playing football on the streets and we didn't go to academy and whatnot very early. So age is not, and then MRI tests, etc. So these are the things that you could do to just stay in line. And this thing you can do it till you are 60. As a footballer, you would end your career at 35 max if you are fantastic. But if you go this route or this path, you make a lot of money. Try as much as you can to do it at international standard. And you can still do that till you are 65. So yeah, I hope that, I mean, you just asked the question. Can I drop my handle here? Let me just drop my handle so that if you have any other question, you can ask me and I can take that out on a admin. I've dropped my handle. I can take that up on a personal level.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Can we appreciate him in the comment section? It has been an amazing one. An amazing one. Day 2 was and is amazing. Thank you so much, sir, for dishing out a lot of action points. I'm sure by now our notes are filled up with action points to carry out. It doesn't stop there. Beyond the paper and the ink, move to practicalizing these things, practicalizing these action points, putting them to good use. So thank you so much, sir, once again for honoring us and being a part of the Giant Stride Summit. We are grateful. And with that, we have come to the end of day 2. We still have 2 more days that promises to be exciting. Day 1 came with a storm. Day 2 was an avalanche. And tomorrow is going to be even hotter and hotter. Thank you. Thank you once again, everyone, for staying true with us even up to this point. Please remember to share out to your friends. You can't afford them to miss this. You know, you talk about being a good friend. One of the ways you even be a good friend is sending valuable things that's going to help your friend know that, oh, I am intentional about our friendship. This is one thing that is going to help, not just gossip. Yes. So please do well to share, and see you tomorrow, same time, same venue, same speaker. Who knows? So, so when you come, we'll know if it's gonna be Sir Egu in that. Now we can't get tired of hearing from you, actually. But tomorrow, please be here. Thank you so much, everyone. And with that, we call it a night. Do have a pleasant night rest, and see you tomorrow. Thank you once again. This is Giant Stride Summit 2025. We are rethinking Africa. And thank you.
Across Africa, we know the problems. We've lived them, felt them, carried them. But the real question is, how do we fix them? This December, we are choosing to rethink what's possible with Giant Stride Summit 2025. Theme: the Third World Advantage. From the 4th to the 7th of December, seasoned thought leaders will chart the path forward for those determined to build their future from here. For every young African seeking clarity, direction, and strategy, this is for you.